Hello friends, and welcome back to Enterprise Architecture. Now, last episode we were absolutely crushing it. We started using deep slate to crush down to get all of the various ores that we need for the next stage of the game. We're getting nickel, we are getting our, silver, we're getting all sorts of new ores now. And we're going to use those to unlock the last two quests in that quest line today, and then move on to the next one. So, with no further ado, let's dive right in. Alright, so here's what we got done last episode. We were setting up plates for nickel, we've got nickel ingots, we've got nickel rods, we have got lead ingots, we've got silver ingots, and we've got silver plates, all of which we are going to be using here in the near future. Now, first things first, we have a couple of more machines that we need to make. We need to make a canola press, and we need to make an XNet controller. For the XNet controller, we're actually going to need nickel gears, so let's grab up a bunch of nickel while we are here. I don't think it's going to take 8. Actually, it might take 8 now that we're using our gear press. Let's go ahead and get that rolling real quick. Okay, there we go, slowly but surely. Yeah, 4 each. That's going to make our 2 of those. There we go. So that's really quick to get done now. All right, let's crank through these real quick. Let's go ahead and make the controller first. Again, we are going to need to make that basic Technium frame here. So I need to grab up our copper gears wherever we left those, as well as our coal gears real quick. And let's put the Technium ingots in here so that we can get the nuggets back out. With that, we can then make up our frames here. Let's go and make 3. I'm sure we're going to use them. We will make up the controller for XNet first. Now, I haven't done anything with XNet. I don't know much about XNet, so we're going to have to tinker with this in a little while, but let's get everything else built first. Next up, we need to make our canola press. Now, for this, we're going to need compressed cobblestone. And in between episodes, I went ahead and set up a couple more of our compactors off of our main resource generators here, so that we can get things like compact cobblestone. Now, towards the end of the pack, we are going to make gigatronium. Gigatronium. And that requires a whole bunch of giga compressed ingredients. So I have started collecting these in here. Right now, we're only up to triple compressed cobblestone. Excuse me. That's not very high in the tiers, but at least we'll have it coming in. Meanwhile, all of the other boxes here are just for single compressed for all of our other bits and pieces. And so now we should be able to make our canola press. Oh, and it looks like we got a book the second we made that. So the canola press is how we are going to be making our canola oil here. So if we look here, all we do is take the canola seed that we've been producing for the last 6 or 7 episodes, and we throw that in here and we get canola oil back out. And I'm sure we're going to be using that for something in the near future. All right, with those done, we are going to need to make a fermenting barrel. That's going to be easy enough. We just take some logs, wrap it around some lead and some silver, and this, I believe, is how we are going to take our canola oil and then turn it into something more useful. So the fermenting barrel, you can see here, let's just look that up. Fermenting. I think this we are going to use to turn, the only recipe in the entire pack, canola oil, into refined canola oil. I assume we then use the refined canola oil to make something else. In this case, it looks like we use it to make crystallized oil. So I'm sure we're going to be getting through that chain in the near future. Again, we're not going to worry about that just yet. Next up, we need to make a fluid pump. This is from Fluid Engineering. That's going to be easy enough for us, but we do have a bunch of old ingredients that we need to make from things that we haven't touched in a while. So we do need to go and gather up our various ingredients from early in the pack, just like that. We need to even go get some smooth stone. It's been that long, we haven't even touched our smooth stone. And make ourselves up a simple machine frame, easy enough. We are running out of space once again, so let's just clear things up just a little bit here. All right. Now we need to make ourselves, I believe, a couple of floppers. Yes, we do. 1 and 2 will get us where we need to go for that. And that should be enough to make us an ambient water collector, which again, one of the first things we made in this pack. Now all that's remaining is we need some fluid pipes here. So I think I have a couple of fluid pipes left. Yeah, we have a little. Let's grab up our iron plates and we will make up another set of fluid pipes just like that. We're not really using fluid pipes for much of anything at this point because again, we do have better pipes to use. So we're not going to need those just yet. So for this, we are going to need to make a lead block. So let's put all of our lead together in a block state. And oh, it looks like this also uses compressed cobblestone. So let's bop back here and grab up some of that. I think we are just about out of our compressed cobblestone. So we might need to grab up a piece of double compressed cobblestone and convert that back into regular compressed cobblestone. Easy enough for us. And then that we can use to make our oil generator, just like that. Okay, wonderful. And that noise means we have completed this entire section of the quest line and we can collect our rewards. Oh, we get a technology guide. I wonder what this does. Okay, oh, this is for RF tools. So now we are on to the actual Advanced Technium quest at long last. So for this, we need to start off by making this thing, an atomic reconstructor. I don't know much about this thing. I'm sure we are going to use it for something useful. Let's take a look here. Oh, apparently this is going to be how we're going to get our crystallized canola seeds to make that crystallized canola oil. All right, picked those items up. We do need to make another basic Technium module frame here, machine frame. So we grab up our Technium there. Let's go ahead and cobble this together real fast. And we once again have too much stuff in our inventory. Let's go ahead and grab that up. This might actually be the point where we finally need to break down and use Tom's storage mod because it's just taken way too much to get there. Okay, so let's see here. Atomic Reconstructor. We are going to use that to convert those seeds. So maybe it's worth looking at this. I believe the next thing we need to do is start setting up all of these pieces of this. A void crystal. Coal can be converted into void crystals. Okay, that's interesting. But how do we make those? Oh, that's literally how we make those. We're going to dump coal into this thing. All right. Well, let's go ahead and figure out how we do that. I think maybe we just start with a stack and see where it takes us. All right, let's try this out real quick. I'm going to throw down a power cable here just for argument's sake. Throw a connector on that and we will wire this up into our network there. All right, so power should be coming into this block. Now, if we take our atomic reconstructor and throw this down, it looks like it is indeed getting power slowly but surely here. And I'm hearing something that sounds like a laser, but I don't know that it's getting enough power yet. Let's see here. If I throw our coal in front of this, yeah, we're getting bursts of laser. Ah, one shot and immediately it becomes crystals. Excellent. Oh, and it did a whole stack at once. Okay, that's more than I thought that we would ever need. It looks like the next thing that it wants us to make is a void crystal block, which we could have just made from a block of coal, which apparently we can also place. So let's go ahead and make that up. I think if we just pop back down here and fall a little bit, we can make that by breaking a whole bunch of things, or excuse me, by combining a whole bunch of things. There we go. There's a void crystal block. And now I believe, oh, that's how we make the freezer, which we're going to use to freeze liquids here momentarily. Oh, we can also make a traveler's sack. All right, so let's go and do the traveler's sack real quick. That's gonna be easy enough for us. I've got a bunch of oak leaves here so that we can make up some leafy string. We're gonna need to make ourselves up a chest as well, just like that. And I believe that should be everything we need with our ersatz leather that I had on hand. All right, let's move on to the freezer here. We just need to make another one of our basic Technium machines here. Let's just grab up the ingredients for that. And we can do it just like this. There's our frame, great. And then the freezer's real easy and done. Great. Now, one surprising thing that I noticed here when we get to the freezer recipes here is that ice obviously just uses water. Makes sense. What does not make sense is that snowballs need clay. I can't say I like this recipe. This is, again, a very, very annoying recipe. All right, back here down at the end, we are ready to set up our freezer. This is where our drawer is going to go that's going to store our snowballs, although actually what we want to make is snow blocks. So let's assume that that's going to go there. Our freezer thus is going to go right here on the floor. And I think what we'll do is actually come back one block with it. And I've run our universal cables through the floor so we have access to power wherever we happen to need it. And in this case, we need it right here. So let's put our freezer on top of that. That should slowly start getting electricity eventually. We're just going to start by throwing a bucket of water in here, and we're going to hopefully turn that into our ice. Alright, so our freezer has made our ice block for us now that the power situation has been figured out, and I've wired this up so that we can start attracting our clay balls into the system, and we're going to get snowballs next once those start showing up eventually from all the way down at the other end. Now I'm going to start pulling these out with logistics pipes, and I'm going to put these into a storage drawer, but before they go into the storage drawer, like I said, they need to go into some sort of a crafter so that we can actually make those snow blocks. So let's go ahead and take our crafter tier 1 here, and let's put this like right above this, just like so. And then we can pull out of the crafter, again, using our logistical transporters. We just need to configure all of these. So we grab up our configurator and we right click these to pull in this case. Are you pulling? That is pulling. Okay, great. We're going to pull in this case. We're going to push in this case. Okay, wonderful. And so eventually snow blocks should start appearing in this drawer. All right, so slowly but surely we are getting our snowballs in here. So now we can finally set this recipe here to snow blocks. So that should make those for us. And yes, it looks like the snow block was immediately crafted and thrown into this drawer. And now we can lock that. So now we have snow blocks being created. All right, that's that side of this equation done. So now let's handle these last few items. We need Inori crystals, which we are going to use to make our Advanced Technium machine. These are made out of nickel ingots, so it's 1-to-1 in our laser. So it looks here like we need 6 of those to start. The other thing we're going to need is Palace crystals, which again, we make by shooting the laser at them. And those are made from lapis, which also looks like we need to shoot the laser at it. So I'm not sure of the most elegant way that we can actually make these, given that we have to shoot a laser at them. Maybe this is a case where we have a locked storage drawer and also a belt going into that drawer. That might be the way that we have to do this for our lapis. So let's just start with the basics here. We're just going to create a few by hand. All right, so on top here, let's drop our nickel first and our lead as well. Hopefully that'll get lasered. It did, and then let's get it lasered a second time. All right, and then we throw our lapis down for a second burst of lasering. There we go, and that didn't happen while we just left it in place, so apparently it does have to be collected and then dropped in front of a different laser. So that might be something for us to think about in the near future here. Alright, so before we actually make the Advanced Technium machine, I am going to make a slight detour, and y'all are coming along with me. We are going to go ahead and do Tom's blueprint from the Simple Storage mod. For that, we are going to need to make ourselves up 16 barrels, so let's grab up whatever wood we have on hand here, and we can use this to make up a bunch of barrels. So again, 16 is what we need. There it goes, 16 barrels. And then we just need a bunch of research books here. And we do have a bunch of research books. Let's go over to our researcher here and we can throw this together real quick. So barrels, books, and hopefully that will then lead to the Tom's storage module. And then that we can use to start doing some more advanced crafting setups here, because I am really getting tired of looking through all of these chests to find what we need. Okay, Tom's blueprint. Good. All right, so how can we use this? We can make the Tom's core, and with that Tom's core, we can then make our inventory connectors, we can make our filters, and most importantly, we can make our storage terminal. That's what we're really going to need here. But we also need the, the crafting terminal. So this one will also be the next one that we make. All right, so let's make up a bunch of Tom's cores here. And what was that? I believe that all it needed was some regular planks. Great, that's a thing we have in spades. Let's go ahead and put in our Tom's blueprint. And I'll go ahead and make up a stack. All right, we still have more coming in, but we're going to start with 6. I think that is a good place to begin our journey. Let's start by making some inventory cables. We'll make up one set of those. There we go, inventory cable connectors. We are going to need, I believe, a bunch of these, but we'll start with 2. We'll also go ahead and make up a crafting terminal. Now for this, what are we missing? We do need to make up a Tom's Core storage terminal, and then we do need to make up a bunch of crafting tables. Did I read that right? Do we need 6 of these? Yeah, we need 6 of those. Okay, great. No problem. So 4, 5, and 6 of those. And then with that, we should be able to make up a crafting terminal. All right, so we should also need an inventory connector here. And for that, we just need to make up a mess of chests here. Let's do a stack of chests just like that. And we'll turn the rest of this into planks. Great. All right, so with that, we should then be able to make up the inventory connector. There we go. And now we should be able to put that down over here next to all of the rest of our inventory. Let's just put this, say, right here. And now we can use this to configure to make sure that we are adding all of these various blocks to it. So I think just these 4 to start should be enough. And then off of that, we should be able to just throw down our crafting terminal to be able to get access to all of these items. And maybe we just go ahead and put a cable so that we can have that vertically where we want it. Let's just do like right here, and we'll put this here. And there we go. All of our items are now visible and present. So we can continue to expand this storage network into other items if we need. So that should give us access to all of these various chests here. So now immediately we can put that to use to make our Advanced Technium machine. We need to make the frame first. And now we should be able to make the actual machine. There we go. That completes that quest for us. Now, before we can call all of this done, we do have to backtrack a little bit here because we still need to make our obsidian. To make the obsidian, we need to create an alloy kiln, and that means we need to make the advanced alloy kiln, the actual automatable one. So let's double back all the way over here to our basic research and check out our alloy kiln. For this, we need 24 basic research, 16 bronze ingots. So we have 16 bronze ingots, and I think we have more than enough of our research books. Let's grab out 24 of those, throw these into our researcher, and then hopefully very quickly we will have that for our alloy kiln. All right, 1 alloy kiln blueprint for us, and then we can use that to make our actual alloy kiln. We're gonna need 12 kiln bricks for that. I've been making up a bunch in between episodes because I figured we would need it. So let's just swap this out real quick, and we only want to put 12 in here for now. There we go. And here we can see what that alloy kiln actually looks like, but do note that this is bigger than our other ones because it comes all the way out to the edge, which is somewhat annoying, but we will figure it out. We will make it work. We do need a bunch of wooden scaffolding to be able to build this, and it does look like that we have the same upgrades as we normally get. And there is our alloy kiln actual block done here. All right, so let's get this thing set up. We're gonna come right along this edge here to be able to build this. So I think we build it just the standard way for the most part. So let's just get this framed out real quick, and then we're gonna fill it in with our kiln bricks real fast. All right, so this thing needs to get in water and lava. So water is easy enough because we can just throw an ambient water collector on this. And then once we use our configurator, that should just start pulling into this thing. So that should be going into that tank. It is. Okay, great. The slightly harder one is going to be lava, but we can use a cobblestone melter to get there. So for that, let's go ahead and grab back up our item pipes here. We will throw this right on top of this machine, and we're actually going to run it off of this. So we haven't run our pipes all the way down yet, but that's okay because we can get to it from here. And we're just going to run this up and over just like that. And then we tell this that we need to attract cobblestone into it. Now, it might make sense to put a separate cobblestone machine here at some point in the near future. Of course, we have to remember to configure the connector here so it actually pulls into there. Okay, great. Oh, and this needs the Obsidian blueprint. We didn't actually make that, so let's run back and make that real quick. So for our research in this case, we just need 32 basic research and 4 bronze blocks, and then momentarily we should have that done. All right, so let's put this into that slot there, and let's see here. Will that give us what we need? I believe so. I think we're just waiting until we have enough lava to continue. All right, and there we go. We are off to the races. Momentarily, we should have our obsidian, and it looks like this is making liquid obsidian. We are going to use that to make our advanced technium directly, but we can also, if we need to, solidify that into blocks of obsidian. So something to keep in mind, but for right now, we are just after this molten obsidian. All right, so building our Advanced Technium machine requires a lot of various ingredients that we have already created previously. We need some light engineering blocks, 9 of those. We're gonna need a heavy engineering block. We are gonna need 12 copper coil blocks, and then we're gonna need a boatload of wooden scaffolding. Where's that list? It didn't even give us the list anymore, but a boatload is the technical term of how many we are gonna need. We're gonna place 1 down. We're gonna then place a 5 by 5 square. As always, 5 by 5. And then inside of this, nope, not there, we are going to put our light engineering blocks in a square pattern, just like this. 9 of those. We're going to top it off with a heavy engineering block. And then we go ahead and put our wooden scaffolding in the corner here. Now from there, we need to come up 6, 4, 5, and 6 on each of these corners as well. Now at layer 4, these get another ring around the middle, just like this, so 20 blocks in all. And then in the center middle of each of those on top, we will add another block as well, just like this. And then over here, those go into place there. We'll put one more right here. Whoop, one more right here in the center of each of these. And then on top of that, we actually put another frame here of a 5 by 5 cross. So this comes across here, just like this. And then it gets fins out in either direction, just like so, and like so. Now, it turns out this does actually need one other component that it did not make us make in any other quest, which is structural glass. So let's go ahead and make up 16 pieces of that. That's just steel wrapped around glass. And then we can put those in place around our frame. And those will go on a 2 by 2 square on each side here of this piece, just like there and here. And then all we're really missing is our copper coil blocks in the corners here, just like this. And then we can just throw our advanced machine actually on it. And that should be all that we need for this to be done. There's those. And now the machine block goes here. And there we go. We have an advanced Technium machine all ready and created. All right, I thought I had this set up properly, but we screwed up one thing, and that is that the base of this is not wooden scaffolding, it is steel scaffolding, although these are absolutely identical. Well, very close to identical, but really hard to see any difference here unless you actually go start inspecting it, and then it'll tell you that you are missing key ingredients here. Now that that is done, you can see this is indeed working properly. And for future reference, if you want to know what's wrong, you can click on this button right here and it'll show you whether or not something is missing. So now we are making Advanced Technium and we got our first piece of that now done. All right, there, we check that off, get our tech bucks, and then Advanced Technium is done. Wonderful. And with that, we can make our Advanced Technium nuggets. Wonderful. And that basically just leaves the machine frame and the milker to make real quick. Alright, so let's make the machine frame. Again, similar recipe to the machine frames we've already made, where we've got our nuggets on the outside and some fancy gears in the middle. We'll dump that back into our system, and now we can make our milker, and that should complete this entire section of quest. And there we go. Finally, we have all of those quests taken care of. Wonderful. Alright, well, we do have this set up for Advanced Technium, but we don't have it automated yet. We still need to do a little bit more work, and specifically, I need to find a really good way to automate those lasers so that we can shoot our lasers into these crystals and get everything out that we're gonna need. So between episodes, I'm gonna find a way to do that, but for now, I'm gonna call that the end of this episode. So thanks again for watching Enterprise Architecture, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends!